Take their order like a coffee shop. Then I steam it up and cook it like a coffee shop. And then I serve it out the window like a coffee shop.
Like our coffee here in New York, don't we?
We certainly do. We're actually here in our very own World News Now coffee shop celebrating National Coffee Day.
Yeah, this is Ashley Rodriguez. We thank you for being here. She's from the American Barista and Coffee School. She's a master barista. Do I have that right?
Oh, she's
master. We're going to go with that. There's an art to this, right? Just like anything, you can walk into a store and you can walk into a Starbucks, but that's not exactly what you do. What's the difference here in the art you have versus what somebody just might go into Dunkin' Donuts, not to put down their coffee?
Oh yeah, no, of course. There's just a little more care taken to the way that we treat our coffee. We think about where it comes from, how to brew it best. Like the coffee you guys are drinking is from Kenya.
Very good.
Which is really, really great.
How do you brew it best?
Depends on the coffee. So the way that I made it for you guys was on this little guy, this beaker called a Chemex.
And is there anything wrong with the Mr. Coffee Maker?
No, not at all.
French press?
No, nothing at all. I will say for coffee makers, they often don't get hot enough. So you want to make sure that your coffee is getting at least to 195 degrees. A lot of those coffee makers only max out to about 180.
And what gives it that burn taste? Sometimes I get a horrible cup of coffee and it tastes burned. I hate that.
It could be old, like it's sitting like on a burner. It could be that the roast is really, really dark. So the coffee that we're drinking is pretty lightly roasted, so it brings out a lot of those natural fruit flavors. Coffee's a fruit. It starts as a little bean and a cherry.
Now, is this, and again, you maybe don't want to brag on yourself too much here, but there's an art to this, if you will, in that not everybody can do what you do. I guess what makes you this barista, as we've been calling you all morning, what does that entail necessarily?
I spend a lot of time thinking about how I'm going to brew this coffee best for you guys. So in the morning when I get to the coffee shop, I do what's called dialing in my coffee. So I'll pull shots of espresso, I'll make French press coffee, and I'll taste it and I'll be like, maybe I should make the grind finer to bring out this flavor. Or maybe I can make it coarser, bring out another flavor. This doesn't taste quite right with milk. I think a lot about how flavors kind of interact with each other.
So if you're not a barista at home, how can you make that perfect cup of coffee?
Well, biggest tip is that your water is probably not hot enough. Secondly, a lot of people are storing their coffee. They think, put it in the fridge so that it'll last longer. That's a big no-no.
Really?
Yeah.
Or the freezer. Sometimes I get beans and put them in the freezer.
Oh, no, you don't want to do it. Moisture and light are your two biggest enemies for coffee. So when you put it in the fridge, you're exposing it to the moisture in there. So cool, dark place. Just the back of your pantry, back of a cupboard, best place to store it.
Okay, is this stuff good for you? We hear all these studies. What's your take on what's, I guess, the health benefits, if you will, of coffee?
Well, you don't want to see me without coffee. Okay. So, there's always studies saying that it's good for you, it's not good for you. I've been a pretty regular coffee drinker for, I'm Cuban, so they were giving me coffee when I was a little girl. So I think I'm okay. I didn't stunt my growth or anything like that. I'm pretty tall. So everything, kind of flip-flops, and I've never seen any adverse reactions to coffee, perhaps a little too jittery, but...
If there's one tip you could offer people at home, what would it be about coffee, making their own coffee?
Grind fresh.
Grind fresh.
Yeah, everything I've been giving you has been freshly ground. This is my grinder. Only about $100.
Really big difference instead of buying the freshly ground coffee?
Yeah, it's like fresh vegetables. The minute you grind it, you lose aromatics, so grind your coffee fresh.
Good to know. And are you trained to misspell people's names on the coffee cup when they put their orders in?
Oh, definitely.
That's what I figured.